Namaste and welcome back. Today we are talking about impoverished prejudice. If you don't know the actual definition of prejudice, it is a preconceived opinion, having a preconceived opinion that isn't based on reason or actual experience. Do you know how hollow it sounded the moment uh, when I read uh, the exact meaning of prejudice as this? Let me repeat it to you: a preconceived opinion that isn't based on reason or actual experience. It sounded flat, it sounded baseless, it sounded downright silly. It almost challenged, challenges your senses, and it really makes you wonder. Oh my God! So that means at some point I must have passed a judgment or had an opinion about someone without actually meeting that person, or interacting with the person, or getting to know the person better. And even if you get to know a person better, why would you want to form an opinion based on because if you meet a person the first time, I believe it's vibes. But if you really want to stamp the person as, oh my God, this person was trying to be really over friendly, or complete put on, complete absolutely false, and uh, why would you want to do that? Why can't you just smile and meet someone and say, it was nice meeting you? So the definition of prejudice itself was mighty surprising for me, considering maybe you and I have done it at some point of time. It isn't very smart to want to be another wolf in the pack. If you lack an opinion, if it is depleted or drained, then you have smartened up. Mark my words, you have actually smartened up instead of wanting to be another wolf in the pack. If you want to form an opinion, if you are desperate to form an opinion, if you feel that, I really need to sort it out in my head whether this person is someone who I can trust or not, assuming that the emotion that you would like the person to be judged on the basis of is trust, spend some time in getting to know the person better. And I don't believe that just a chance meeting or sitting in a group of people is going to give you that the amount of information you require. If you lack the opinion, on the other hand, and choose to keep that which you require the person to pass your trust test on, isn't it wiser if you just keep that information to yourself instead of seeing whether the person is going to break your trust or keep it? I believe if you lack the opinion, you've actually smartened up. It doesn't really matter whether you are a part of a group. I would like to call a group that is prejudiced and encourages being prejudiced as a wolf pack. And I wouldn't be so far from the truth if I said that. I'm going to try and club together two examples. One is of a house help and one is of a rickshaw puller. The house help is a lady, and the rickshaw puller is her husband. I was intrigued as to where they lived, so I actually asked her if I could drop her home one day. And when I went to their place, they were literally living hand to mouth, but their laugh was the loudest. Their hearts were the largest, and their words were the wisest. When I asked, there was an old lady who was sitting in one corner and eating dal chawal, which is rice and lentil soup. I went and touched her feet, and there was a stale smell coming from the house, and irrespective of that, everyone seemed to be very comfortable and supremely healthy, touch wood. And I asked her in Hindi that, are you okay with it that your daughter-in-law goes to people's houses and cleans dishes and sweeps the floor, and your son, who you must have had dreams for, goes around collecting money, dropping people from one place to another in his rickshaw? Once again, I was stumped by what she said. She said, I would rather that they work hard and exhaust themselves and they earn their meal, their sleep, their life, and the air that they breathe any day over them doing something which their conscience won't allow. I took away wisdom that day from their home along with lots of love and affection, and I don't think I'll ever forget them for the rest of my life. Here is an example of a silk merchant and the principal of a school. The silk merchant sells everything that has to do with silk. You have scarves, you have stoles, you have kaftans, whatever is available that is going to attract tourists and customers. The silk merchant goes ahead and displays it in his shop. When I went to his shop, I had gone with the intention of buying a few gift items for my relatives, my sister, and I thought that he would be reasonable because he knew my family personally. He thought I was as rich as a lot of relatives who he had met. So the same scarf that he showed the lady right next to me for 300 rupees became 500 rupees. And I was mighty upset because I'm not a miser, but I am frugal. And for me, I found it downright unfair. So I asked him, why are you doing this, And he said, well, I know where you come from. And I know that you all are reasonably wealthy. And what difference does 200 rupees make? And I did not buy the scarf, not because of the 200 rupees, but because it was ethically wrong. Of course, he never sold the scarf to me, Everything doesn't need to have a good ending. And I didn't buy it because I was furious. But this is the story of the silk merchant, the businessman. Many of you will say that he was doing this, he was doing this because he assumed that I am wealthy and it wouldn't really, put a dent on my budget. But it wasn't really about the money if you come to think about it. It was more about doing the right thing. The second example that I wanted to give you, and the last in this segment, is the principal of a school, believe it or not. I came to know about a principal in a particular school who goes around and speaks to people about how to better their life, how to improve their life, and how to do well in life. And he walks into a classroom full of students and gives them long lectures about how important it is to be someone worthy of knowing and how to make a mark in society and everything. He comes back to his room and he calls a fresh teacher who designs modules to train students who are not doing so well. And you won't believe what he says. He says, I need a list of these students removed from the school because they're bringing the average of the school down. So why don't you design a module to ensure they fail in the next exam so that I have a reason to throw them out of school and I will double your salary. When the principal was asked by this fresh teacher that I joined your school because you told me that you care about the future of every child. He said, my dear, the future of a child is not as important to me as how well my school is doing in the local rankings of all the schools. What would you say to that? When I heard the story, my heart did go out for the teacher, another dear friend of mine, but I was wondering what is going on, because this is the principal of a school where there are hundreds of students who look up to him, and behind closed doors, this is what he thinks. So, I'm leaving it up to you.